Coming up tonight on VCU InSight.
Waste from local breweries is helping the city clean the James River, saving Richmond millions of dollars.
An unexpected sports team at VCU is making a name for themselves in national rankings and heading to the World Cup.
And a local artist is showcasing her original work inside Strawberry Street Cafe with one unique twist.
All this and more.
VCU InSight starts right now.
From the Richard T. Robertson School of Media and Culture at Virginia Commonwealth University, named Best Student Newscast in the Mid-Atlantic, this is VCU InSight.
Good evening and welcome to VCU InSight. I'm Cameron Vigliano.
And I'm Bria White. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news tonight, Richmond breweries will be now saving on their sewage bill because what they're flushing down the drain is helping to clean our water. InSight's Forrest Nguyen has more on the story. Good evening, Forrest.
Good evening, Bria. While making alcohol, breweries make chemicals which are just undrinkable and they flush it down the drain. But it's doing a lot of good in the James River. A lot of water goes down the drain when Legend makes their beer.
A lot of water. I mean, it's been an issue for a long time.
After the beer is done, breweries flush gallons of wastewater down the drain containing methanol. Once in the water, this methanol helps to feed plants and animals along the James. The city spends almost $1 million buying methanol when local breweries like Legend flush it down the drain, basically for free. Vice President of Legend Breweries Operations, David Gott, says that Legend and other Richmond breweries have known this for a while.
A lot of what we put down there is actually more beneficial than it is harmful. I guess it took Stone Brewing Company coming to town for the city to finally listen, but
a discussion was sparked by the announcement of Stone Brewing Company's 14-acre brewery coming to Richmond. City Council then gave all Richmond breweries a discount on their water bill because of the methanol they throw away. Director of Richmond Public Works Robert Seidel thinks that this decision is just good business.
So we thought to ourselves, well, why do we buy something and then charge somebody to be able to put it into the sewer system where we could use it in the wastewater plant?
So what is a brewery like Legend going to do with the extra $1,000 they'll save?
Add to our systems, increase our volume so we can hire some more folks and maybe build a bigger brewery at some point.
Richmond area breweries should see a 70% decrease in their sewage bill and a much cleaner river over these upcoming months. Back to you, Bria.
Thanks, Forrest.
A change is coming for the roads of Richmond called the Complete Streets Policy. City leaders are now obligated to make streets convenient for all forms of transportation, making it easier for bicyclists, pedestrians, bus passengers, and drivers to get around. City officials have 1 year to implement these changes. The new guidelines will also be placed under Richmond's Standard Construction Manual. Richmond is the latest city to adopt a Complete Streets Policy since 2004. Over 600 agencies have created roadways for all forms of transportation.
From missing pets to alerting neighbors of suspicious activities, an online neighborhood watch app called Nextdoor is bringing communities and local police forces together. InSight's Joel Tyler has more in the story.
With already over 15 active neighborhoods throughout the Fan District and over 400 members, users of the Nextdoor app can stay up to date with the events going on around their neighborhood.
I think it's a great app.
I think it's fantastic.
Nextdoor resembles other social media websites like Facebook, which is why Commander of the 3rd Precinct of the Richmond Police Department, Emmett Williams, says the app is not only easy to use, but beneficial to the community members.
It's kind of like best way to describe it is a Facebook for neighborhoods. It's an opportunity for each neighborhood to build their own base of citizens that live within the neighborhood to communicate with each other about what's going on, what problems they have.
Because of this app, Nextdoor member David Oakley was alerted of a suspicious man lurking around his property while he was away.
And so I said, well, yeah, go ahead and alert the police. And within about 10 minutes, which is a great response time for something as simple as someone roaming around your backyard, we had police presence in the neighborhood.
Now, although local police can't see what is going on directly in your neighborhood, they can still be notified with a message through the app.
And somebody has to send me a post directly. Say someone in the Caroline Neighborhood Association saw a suspicious vehicle and wanted to tell me, well, they would have to email me directly.
Because of these restrictions, officers still encourage citizens to pick up their phone and call it in. For VCU InSight, I'm Joel Tyler.
To find out if your community is already connected or if you want to join, you can download the app on the Apple Store or the Android.
Congratulations to a local comedian who is named Best Act in Town 2 years running by Style Weekly. We're lucky to have him in the studio to join us. InSight's Michelle Green is here now with more.
I'm here in the studio with Cory Marshall, a local comedian who is known for his impressive delivery and performances here in Richmond. Thanks for joining us, Cory.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So, Cory, we know that you've been named Style Weekly's best local comedian. Can you tell me what took you along this journey of becoming a comedian?
Yeah, well, I had to be a good comedian first for him to recognize me. I got started in 2008. I got started there, and then I started meeting other comedians in the area. I started going to a lot of the open mics in town. I'm learning the craft and watching a lot of professional comedians. Picked up from advice from them. Started writing my own things and just kept at it.
So I know that you travel across the country for different performances, and we actually have a video of you at one of your performances at the Funny Bone.
Hope it's a good one.
Can you just explain a little bit what's going on here?
Sure.
Please take a look.
All right.
The best way to describe stuttering, so you all get a better picture. Stuttering is like verbal constipation. No matter how hard you push or blow, those words ain't coming out, you know what I mean? And I'm at McDonald's, right, and I want to order a Big Mac, but I can't say my B's, right, because I'm stuttering, right? I still play it off, but I don't want the lady behind the counter to know that I stutter. It's insecurity. So I'm at the cash register, I'm like, yeah, let me get a...
I was talking about my stuttering, and I do stutter in real life. So that's one of the things that I do like to bring to attention to the crowd before I start talking. You know, just in case I can't get some words out, they understand what's happening on stage.
So I know a lot of critics compliment you on your delivery. Mm-hmm. Are there any things in particular that you like to talk about while you're performing?
Yeah, one is my stuttering. That's one of the things I definitely have to bring up. I have little odd observations, little things that I kind of noticed about either society or the town, or even about Richmond in general and things like that. That's the kind of things I really love talking about.
So since you've been performing, have you met any celebrity comedians that have inspired you along the way?
I've met a lot of celebrity comedians. One of my most recent interactions was with comedian Rodman, who just won the Last Comic Standing competition. I met him, and he's been a real big help to me right now. So shout out to Rodman for helping me on some things. I met a lot of comedians that are doing comedy. I pretty much know them, you know. So that's a good thing. It's a good feeling to be among the celebrities and things like that.
So as a comedian, I know that you have to, write your own things, and I heard you say, that you write for other people. Can you just tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well. About what, writing?
Yes, like writing. What do you do as a comedian?
Well, one of the things when I write for other people, the thing that I have to do is I kind of have to put myself in those comedian shoes. I have to learn how they speak. I have to learn their speaking pattern, which is actually it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work on my part, but I really do enjoy it. It's another voice other than mine, which I'm learning.
And would you say, has it been any experience that you would say so far that has really shaped your career as a comedian?
An experience that shaped my career as a comedian. I can't pin it to one. It's been a lot of them, and I would probably say it's been the bad shows and the good shows.
Okay. Well, I've been speaking with Cory Marshall. Thank you for being here, Cory.
Thanks again for having me.
No problem. See? That's good.
Do you have a green thumb, a love for climbing trees, or a mission to maintain the earth? Local organization Richmond Tree Stewards is looking for applicants for its Tree Steward class of 2015. The group does more than hug trees. It cares for them and makes it easier for the Richmonders to enjoy them and understand how they benefit us. Applying to be a tree steward involves successful completion of a course and a pruning exam. Applications are due by November 25th and can be found online at richmondtreesteward.org.
Eating healthy could be expensive and may not be in the budget for some low-income families, but a group is trying to change that by bringing fresh produce to low-income neighborhoods for little to nothing. InSight's Randy Ayala has more on the story.
This is where residents of Creighton Court come to shop for fresh produce, right outside of their front door.
A lot of people out here aren't able to go and get vegetables, so to have them bring the fresh produce here, it helps a lot.
All thanks to the group Shalom Farms, a health food program is making its way into low-income neighborhoods. Creator Dominic Barrett says healthy eating is something everyone should be able to do.
I think that access to healthy food should be a right, and I sort of look at it as the same way as the right to vote.
Here's how the program works. Between 10 and 15 families sign up and are given free produce once a week for 12 weeks. They also learn how to prepare it at the same time.
They give a lot of vegetables each time, so it saved me money because, of course, I didn't have to buy vegetables for that week.
Resident Johnny Maitre says they've taught her to think outside the box when it comes to preparing her food.
They give you a lot of new recipes to try. Like we had the roasted cauliflower. I would never think about roasting no cauliflower.
Now, even if you're not one of the families in the program, you can still come here and take advantage of the fruits and vegetables. And everything is priced low, between 50 cents and $1. Although Bon Secours funds the program, Shalom Farms grows all of its own produce. And as a result, Maitre says she has seen significant improvements in her health.
My weight loss is good. My blood pressure is stable now.
But she's not the only one. This program has given city residents something everyone deserves, a chance to eat healthy and live longer. For VCU InSight, I'm Randy Ayala.
Shalom Farms is trying to revamp the program to make it last all year round. They have been active in the Ramsey and Hillside neighborhoods and are hoping to expand.
Graze on Grace made its first appearance earlier this month. Starting on 4th Street and covering 3 blocks of Grace Street, the event had over 25 different restaurants and one wine tasting booth. For only $3, guests could eat local and seasonal dishes like steamed oysters and satay chicken. Attendees were encouraged to bring canned goods to the event to donate to Feed More, which helped feed elderly children and adults in need. The Virginia Museum of Fine Arts raised over $60,000 in its first ever crowdfunding campaign in less than a month. The money went towards the museum's exhibition fund that is currently hosting a 3D art exhibit.
Rome wasn't built in a day, but the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts is managing to construct a to-scale 3D model of the Forbidden City overnight. Thanks to the success of their first crowdfunding venture, the VMFA has raised over $61,000 for their exhibition fund. Crowdfunding typically uses the internet in order to raise small amounts of funding from a large number of people. Tom Zidell says the money is going towards supporting exhibits like the Forbidden City model and many more to come.
When we found out that we were going to have the 3D printers here and that we were going to build a 3D model of the Forbidden City, we thought it was a perfect opportunity to take this new technology and jump into a digital fundraising sphere.
The museum partnered with Razoo.com to generate online fundraising for their exhibitions. The goal was originally set at $40,000 and then increased to $45,000. Vilma Siegel says she enjoys the exhibitions and thinks the crowdfunding was a great idea.
To fund this project, it takes a lot of effort and money, and I'm all for it. It's really a wonderful idea.
The campaign received over 250 individual donations, anywhere from Bonaire to Barcelona. A Chinese-American wholesale company also gave a match gift of $25,000.
Traditionally, the museum has relied upon conventional mail and print fundraising campaigns. So this crowdfunding initiative bridged a gap in generational giving methods.
It actually came kind of half from new donors and half from our donors who have been with us for a long time. So it was kind of a nice mix.
The 3D model and the art exhibit of the Forbidden City will be on display until March. If you would like to donate to the VMFA's exhibition fund, visit vmfa.museum for more information.
Anthem Richmond Marathon celebrated its 37th year on November 15th, and despite low temperatures this year's, entry records shattered last year's. According to Richmond sports backers, the marathon had more registered runners 2 weeks before race day than there has ever been. More than 6,000 signed up for the race and almost 93,000 for the half marathon, which set a new entry record for the race's history. Anthem Richmond Marathon is also now the 27th largest marathon in the nation.
It's not new for Hollywood to come to Richmond these days. The city has become a popular place to shoot movies, and now another director is taking a bite into the Richmond scene. InSight's Joel Tyler is in the studio to tell us more.
I'm here in the studio with Cahill Dote, Director of Vampires in Virginia. Cahill, thanks for being here.
Sure.
So, you're an actor, you're in J. Edgar and in Lincoln, and now you're directing your own film in Richmond, Vampires in Virginia. What made you want to take on the role as a director?
Well, it started about 10 years ago when I was forced to take the director's role when I had a 5-minute film that I had put together, had this great director, and the last minute he had an emergency and he couldn't show up, and we all panicked, and everybody said, well, you wrote the script, why don't you direct it? And I was like, okay, I'll try. And it turned out I had an act for it. So ever since then, I've been doing little directing pieces, like short and then longer shorts, and then till today where, you know, we have a feature film that I'm directing.
Right, and we actually have some footage of you directing, and I'm curious, what is a typical day as a director?
Well, the typical day is there is no typical day. For instance, here, you see how hard it was? My arm's all bloody, and it was, no. I'm also acting in this, so that's why my arm is bandaged. But here, I had to switch from being an actor to being the director and telling the other actors what they need to do. And I'm showing here, telling her exactly which board to pick and showing her that it's split, and that's the one she knows how to pick. Over here, that was with one of the stunt people, telling them how the stunt's going to work. And it's difficult when you're acting and directing in a movie because you sort of have to switch your brain off. Am I acting right now or am I directing right now?
Right, and so I'm curious, why did you choose Richmond and Chesterfield to shoot your film Vampires in Virginia?
Well, we got a couple reasons. One is finances, to fly out me and some of the key crew people to another location. That would cost money. But most important is all of the different cool locations that we already knew about in the Richmond and Chesterfield, Powhatan, and Charles City areas, where we didn't have to do much research. We didn't have to hire a locations director to find really cool locations. We already knew about them. For instance, the Pump House, if you've ever been to that, it is friggin' scary just going in there. So we didn't have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars making something look really scary. You just go in there and it's already set. So places like that just look really cool, interesting, eye candy things. It's all over the place, so we just go to it.
Right. And can you tell fans or viewers right now anything about Vampires in Virginia? Like what to look for?
Okay, well, Vampires in Virginia is a modern take on the vampire story. So we are treating vampirism as a disease that you catch, and normal humans, once they catch this disease, they start having vampire-like symptoms, but they're not really transformed into a different creature. They are just a person who is still human, but they're transformed. So they'll live longer, they eventually do die, they are susceptible to the sun, but they don't burst up into flames. They're more like an albino where it's very high sensitivity. They do become stronger. Their muscles start to change where they are stronger than a normal human, but they can't jump over, you know, they can't jump 50 stories high, and they can't fly, they can't turn into bats, stuff like that.
Okay, and I know you're doing a movie on vampires. Will we be able to see Sarah Michelle Gellar?
Well, you know, that's a top secret, you know, we can't tell you.
And do you have any future plans here in Richmond?
Yeah, we have another feature film after this is wrapped well, the pendulum is swinging completely the other way. Right. It's going to be a Christmas-oriented family comedy.
Okay. All right. Well, I've been speaking with Cahill Dote, Director of Vampires in Virginia. Thanks for being here.
Sure, man. It was great.
Yeah. I'm actually
One ranked team here at VCU is getting national attention and working hard to keep it for their upcoming season. And no, we're not talking about basketball, but a sport that you may not have heard before. InSight's Alex Trias is in the newsroom with more on the story. Good evening, Alex.
Good evening, Cameron. The Whiz-and-Gamut Quidditch team has their sights set high and their broomsticks ready. The team ranked 30th in the nation this season and just recently won their World Cup qualifier against QC Pittsburgh, and they aren't stopping there. After a disappointing season last year, Wizengamot is looking to dominate at the World Cup in April of 2015. Mackenzie Dodd is the assistant coach and a chaser for the team. As chaser, Dodd has to get the quaffle, or volleyball, through the hoop for 10 points. Dodd says she's proud of Wizengamot's accomplishments so far.
For Wizengamot, for the most part, our team was made up of people who would just play this, learn this year. They just joined. So the fact that they're learning this fast and they were able to play like that and rank against really hard teams in the region was just amazing.
Wizengamot clinched their 2015 World Cup bid after seeker Darren Creary, who has a perfect record in seeking, caught the Golden Snitch to win the game. The Golden Snitch is a neutral player dressed in yellow with a ball velcroed to the player's back. Catching the snitch means winning the game. Now this young underdog team is looking to win its first World Cup. Wizengamot has been nationally ranked in previous years and has competed in the World Cup 3 times since Quidditch began at VCU in 2008. Although they've done well at former World Cups, Wizengamot is looking to bring home first place. Wizengamot chaser and president Tommy McPhail says that although the university lacks support for the team, they're still making a name for themselves.
We travel up and down the East Coast all year round.
Wizengamot has large goals for the remainder of their season.
So this year there will be 80 teams competing for the #1 spot, and then bracket play starts with the top 32. So in the last 2 World Cups we have gone to bracket play. And that is definitely, I would say, our goal this year.
Wizengamot going to the World Cup, however, also means fundraising for Wizengamot, who raised a whopping $8,000 with Indiegogo in past years. Without it, the team would have to pay out of pocket for travel expenses and jerseys. Back to you, Cameron.
Thanks, Alex.
VCU hosted the Men's Soccer Atlantic 10 Championship. The 3-day tournament was held at Sportsbacker Stadium. This was the 3rd year VCU men's soccer has competed in the championship, and the 2nd time Richmond has hosted it. The Women's Soccer Championship was held here last year. States represented included Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Missouri, New York, and Virginia. A10 spokesperson Debbie Richardson says though every city is different, the championship usually has a positive financial impact on the host city, including exposure at a national level. Though VCU lost in the first round and temperatures were low, sports backers welcomed hundreds of sports fans, local and non-local, over the course of the weekend.
The VCU Police had its 5th annual chili cook-off this year. The proceeds all went to a local charity that has been serving the Richmond area for over 140 years. InSight's Adam Epstein has more on the story.
A packed house at the police station on VCU campus with celebrity judges and 19 different kinds of chili. Chicken chili, bacon chili, pork chili, even macaroni chili. VCU Police Chief John Venuti loves the camaraderie that an event like this brings to the force and the community.
In order to be effective in policing, you need deep roots, especially within higher education. And I think, the result in the turnout today is really more an indication of how deep our roots run.
All the proceeds for this year's chili cook-off will go here to the Friends Association for Children. It's a group that works with local families, sometimes providing transportation to and from school. They also have tutors so the kids can get help with their schoolwork. Executive Director of the Friends Association, David Young, says it's not about the money the cook-off makes.
This event will raise a little money, but I think more importantly helps us to raise the awareness and visibility of what our organization is doing. We have 2 centers, one in Jackson Ward, one in the Church Hill area, serve about 250 kids each day.
VCU men's basketball coach Shaka Smart, who is a celebrity judge, says the decision on best chili is going to be a very difficult decision.
There's a variety of different types of beans and tomatoes, so I think the entries are very competitive. It'll be interesting to see who wins.
Very good.
But our first place winner is number 14.
Chief Venuti said the winning chili had a special chili powder that gave it an edge. For VCU InSight, I'm Adam Epstein.
The Friends Association for Children raised over $1,000 from the event.
And finally tonight, a local restaurant is doubling as an unusual art gallery.
Strawberry Street Cafe, a staple in the Fan, is lending its walls to display a young artist's unique work. Isabel Settembrino has more on the artist.
Art Nouveau and Tissot, Monet, Manet, and Alphonse Mucha. These all look like classic masterpieces, but they are all done in chalk. Strawberry Street Cafe lends its walls to a young artist's original work.
They think it's amazing. They're very surprised.
Graphic designer Bunny Comer started using the restaurant's fixed panels to recreate famous painters' works of art, all without tracing or mapping.
So I did Lady with a Parasol, and that was awesome. So that was my first chalkboard.
Comer always got great feedback from the cafe manager, Lori Wild, and customers.
Really just the final product and the way that people respond to it.
But it was only after posting a Havoc time-lapse on her YouTube channel that she got more than 6,000 views.
That was passed around the internet like wildfire, and it was really awesome.
Her latest work is not necessarily a classic, but yet another original ram, honoring this new VCU basketball season. Comer can draw for 10 hours straight until her fingers get numb, and sometimes on the top of a letter. But erasing it all is the hardest part for her and the customers.
They can't believe that we erased them, you know? How can we do that? I would say definitely that's the #1 concern.
So I've kind of just dealt with it in the fact that, yes, I'm erasing it, but I'm also getting the chance to do something else.
That something else will be another short-term, timeless masterpiece. For VCU InSight, I'm Isabel Settembrino.
Now, if you want to see the panels, they are usually up for 6 to 8 months at Strawberry Street Cafe.
The artist Bunny Comer drew our own VCU InSight logo.
And here it is. It was a little tricky, she said. She's actually used to drawing the chalk portrait on the wall instead of down like a piece of paper.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Well, she said the letters were challenging, but hey, it only took her 20 minutes.
Well, thanks so much, Bunny. We love our chalkboard. It's going to stay on our wall, like right behind us. So.
And that's it for this edition of VCU InSight.
Make sure you check us out on our website at insight.vcu.edu.
You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook under VCU InSight. Contact us for any stories you'd like to see on our show.
And if you missed our show or would like to watch it again, you can find us on YouTube at VCU InSight. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Cameron Vigliano.
And I'm Bria White. We'll see you next time.